I'm going to tell you a really scary, spooky story in this video. Now, one is related to royalty and the other story is connected to an experience that I had. Now, I would be really interested to see what you think, so leave your comments. Okay, so Windsor Castle is known as one of the most haunted addresses in the whole of the UK. Now, our current king's grandfather, King George VI, had his own rather challenging experience in Windsor Castle. Now, over about 8 nights leading up to the Second World War, he was sitting in the library and he heard footsteps approach him. Now, there's nothing unusual about that, but these were quite loud and distinctive, and they sounded like footsteps on wooden floorboards. Now, the only thing is that everywhere around him where he was thickly carpeted, so it just didn't make sense. Sure enough, they get louder and louder, closer and closer, and then a lady appears in front of him in a black dress. And she looked a rather queenly figure, and indeed she was. She was Queen Elizabeth I. Yes, that Queen Elizabeth, the one who is the daughter of King Henry VIII and Anne Boleyn. And he saw her. Now, this happened, like I said, 8 nights in a row. Now, he's also backed up in this experience on another occasion. The then Princess Elizabeth and Princess Margaret were playing in the library, and they saw her as well. Again, they heard the footsteps getting louder and louder on wooden floorboards, and then she appeared in front of them in the library. She just appeared, and then she just disappeared. And again, it was Queen Elizabeth I. Now, sightings of her around Windsor Castle are always in the library, and It even goes back as far as 1897, where a guardsman was sitting in sort of an anteroom outside the library, and he heard and saw this lady in a black dress, and she just walked right on by him. Now, evidently, she doesn't look ghostly because he thought she was an actual woman walking past him in a black dress. And so he followed her because she went into the library, and he was sort of like, well, who are you? And he was following her. But when he got into the library that has no other doors to exit, there was no one in there. And it was only later when he was walking past a portrait of Queen Elizabeth I that he realised who he'd seen. Now, there's many other really interesting, scary sightings and hauntings from around Windsor Castle. Evidently, King Charles III, the one that went mad, is seen looking out a window just below the library. There's all sorts of scary stories, and you can look them up. There's meant to be over about 25 ghosts currently haunting Windsor Castle. But I wanted to tell you my own experience. Now, this could have been a prank or it could have been a ghost. I don't know. And I just want to tell you my story and you tell me what you think. Okay. And you can share your stories if you've got any as well, which would be really fun. So, my husband and I are on a bed and breakfast overnight stay in an old guest house in the mountains. And we were the only ones there because it was a midweek thing because we tended to work more weekends. And so we were there and it was like a dinner package thing, right? So we were enjoying our dinner and we noticed that there wasn't really anybody else around, but that didn't really bother us. When we got to the end of our meal, the owner of the guest house came and took our orders to have liqueurs by the fire. And he mentioned that, oh, well, I'll be going. Once I've served these, I'll be going. And we're like, what? And he said, well, we live just next door. And seeing you're the only guest tonight, we're going to go home. But here's a number if you need to get in touch with us or anything. And when you decide to go upstairs, he said, make the most of the fire and everything. But when you go upstairs, could you just turn out the lights down here? And we were sort of like, okay, a little bit, wary. So that's okay. We enjoy our liqueurs by the fire. It's very, very romantic. And then it's time to go up to bed. And we didn't think much of it because he'd left all the lights on upstairs and everything. So we start to make our way up the stairs and turned off the lights on our way. And it was only when we looked down the dark stairwell that we sort of felt a bit alone, not necessarily scared, but just aware that we were there in this rather large guest house alone. Now, when we got up into the hallway where our bedroom was, there was about 10 bedrooms off this hallway. And they all had doors with these sort of gold long-handled knobs on them. And they're all locked, I presume. And so we let ourselves in with our key and we go in. And I hop in the shower and my husband sits on the end of the bed and flicks on the TV and it's all just normal, right? So I come out of the bathroom and I go to make myself a cup of tea in the room and my husband's preparing to go and have a shower. And then all of a sudden we hear our door handle go and we just thought, oh, there must be someone else staying here and they've got the wrong room. So we just sort of ignored it because our door was locked and we figured they'd work out it wasn't their room. Then we heard it again. So my husband sort of makes big manly noises as he goes up to the door and sort of as he's opening the door says, can I help you sort of thing. No one there. So he has a check down the hall each way. No one there. So he said, oh, it might have been the water pipes contracting or something. But I'm thinking, no, it was definitely the door handle. So he goes in to the bathroom and I'm sitting on the end of the bed. But this time I am focused on that door handle. I'm just focused on it because I was sure it was the sound of the door handle, but I didn't see it move. So I'm just looking at it like this. Sure enough, it happens again. But this time I saw it. The handle moved. It went down and up because it was locked. So it just like that. So my heart is beating like anything. My husband's in the shower and I didn't sort of want to cause a fuss or anything. So I just sort of waited, staring at the door. Happens again. So this time I gather all my courage up and I march up to the door and I fling it open and there's no one there. And again, same thing, I look up and down the hall. So this time, when I shut the door, I don't shut it completely. I shut it so it's two and I have my hand on the handle because I figure that if anyone's pranking us, I can quickly just open it when they're still there. So I wait right near the door. Then a really terrifying thing happens. Nothing happens to our door, but I hear from up the hall, then the door handle right next to our room. Now, I'm too scared to open the door and I'm sort of holding on to our door and I'm thinking, do I shut the door and lock it or then they'll notice that I'm there? So I just kept it shut too, but didn't move. Then went past our door, down the hall. So I shut the door and I lock it, get my husband out of the bathroom, tell him what's happened. And he's drying himself and everything. And he's saying, look, I'm sure, because I've just been in the shower, I'm sure it's just like the water pipes making a noise, contracting and stuff like that. I said, I saw the handle move. He goes, really? I said, I did. I saw a handle move and I heard them. I was standing right at the door and it was all the handles down the hall. So he believes me because he knows I'm not prone to be, hysterical. So we're both sitting on the end of the bed and we're sort of laughing but terrified. And I said, what do we do? Should we call the guy? Like, this is like, there could be people in here that are, like this is really scary. And he said, well, let's just wait and see if it happens again now I'm out of the shower. So anyway, we do make a cup of tea and stuff and we're just chatting and the TV's on and we're sitting on the end of the bed and we're laughing and enjoying the fear, let's just say. We heard it again. This time our door, right down the hall. And then we're both, that sort of real terror, but you're killing yourself laughing. That was what we had because we just couldn't believe this was happening or the situation we're in. So my husband he said, I'm going to check it out. I'm going to go and check it out. I said, no, don't leave me here. Don't leave me here. I'm coming too. So we go out in the hall. The hall's still all lit up and we go up and then my husband goes up and down the hall and he knocks on all the doors and he goes, come on, we know you're there. Enough now. We've had enough of this now. You've had your fun because he thinks it's a prankster hiding in one of the bedrooms. Nothing. We go back into our room, and for the rest of the night, now we were determined that if it happened again, we were going to call the guy, but we sort of didn't want to disturb them. Didn't happen again. We go to bed, but we left all the lights on in our room, and we didn't get much sleep, and it was a really restless night. So we get up, go down to have breakfast. We see the owner, he's there, and we told him what happened. And he said, oh, yes, that's our ghost. That's our resident ghost. Now, I couldn't read him. I couldn't tell if it was him or whether I couldn't tell. And we did question him and everything, and we both couldn't tell if he was serious or he was stringing us along or what was happening. And to this day, we still don't know. Now, he may have been trying to make his guest house more famous by making it haunted, because admittedly, we were the only ones there. It was really lovely there, so I don't know why it was so empty. Maybe it was empty because it was haunted. Let me know what you think. Do you think that we experienced something that was real, or do you think the owner was pranking us, or what do you think? And if you've got any stories at all about a scary, spooky occurrence in your life, well then please leave it, because it'll be such fun to read it. Don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to see you again. Bye.